try to remember everything I already said.
Right, so I'm here with Mr. Shane Smith. I remember meeting Shane a couple of years ago when I was down doing MMA in depth. You had the combat lab, you were doing strength and
Yeah,
conditioning nutrition for the lads, and you came back to fighting after 13 or 14 years, I believe, and now you're competing at
13
the
years,
Nationals.
yeah.
How are
Yeah.
you feeling? Nationals this weekend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel great, man. Obviously, even the last fight I had, I know I didn't get the result I want, but I didn't really come out with any like nicks or bangs or anything, so I just kind of took 2 or 3 days off training and got straight back into it then. So, just the opportunity for the nationals came up, and it kind of seemed like fairly good. I would love to do an IMAF. So I think if you win this, you should get on the team, or you're in the running to get on the team. So that's the goal is to go in this weekend, put on a good performance and get the win, and then hopefully go to Serbia in February, along with Shane Dunn as well. So hopefully be two of us going over.
Yeah, it's a fantastic gym, Air Grapple. I love the talent that's coming out. Ronan Deegan, Andrew Barr, Shane Dunn has he's exploded onto the scene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's
you're
the
back.
second best Shane in the gym.
uh,
Yeah.
I love that. But what made you come back to fighting after so long out? Because like fair play to you, it's like I'm not saying you're old. We had this conversation before. You're not old, but you like these guys coming in 18, 19, 20. They're young, they're fresh, they're thing. What
Yeah.
like you were out for a while, but you had the technique and stuff behind you. What made you come back? And fair play to you for coming
Um,
back.
I suppose just like we were saying there already, kind of like I started back into. I've always been doing combat sports. Like I've never really like stopped. You know what I mean? It was on and off, and I'm doing stuff nearly like the last 20 years now, nearly 18 years or that. But I think maybe 3, 4 years ago, like I said, the gym was a little bit quiet in terms of the MMA team. So I think like Ronan and Andrew were just asking one day, going, "Hey, do you want to throw on shin guards and gloves and spar with us?" And that was kind of it. Just started tipping away back at training from there. But then in the last say 2 years, like we added back in some like more evening MMA class stuff like Kieran was taking and stuff, and I started jumping into those. And then really started kind of finding my momentum with training and stuff and feeling good. And I was like, geez, I forgot how good this felt, and set myself a goal then at the start of this year that like I want to get back competing this year, whether it was like jiu-jitsu or MMA, because obviously the last 4 or 5 years were a bit disaster for me. I had multiple surgeries and injuries and stuff, but yeah, all that's behind me now, and yeah, just obviously what got in did IUR in the summer. The prep and all for that was unreal. Like, and it was class to do a full camp again, especially with me. So, I run the combat lab. So, like, I look after like S&C nutrition for all the fighters here and a few other people online and stuff. And then, like, I want to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk, you know what I mean? So, it was class for me to get to go through a proper weight cut, doing everything that I know how stuff should be done, compared to, say, like, I obviously fought like in like nearly the first wave of Irish MMA, and the shit we used to do to cut weight and S&C and everything was crazy, like, you know what I mean? So it was class to do it all properly and get a feel for it. And then, you can fully understand what your athletes are going through as well, you know what I mean? And relate to them that way. Uh, but yeah, so even though I did that fight, obviously, like I was saying, yeah, I went for a stupid, like, judo throw that Kieran was warning me for weeks not to do. And I was in the midst of it, obviously went for it, gave up my own back, got choked, but I still came out of it, like, feeling class. I was like, yeah, like, I do love it. I want to go again. And yeah, no, here we are up again this weekend. I was originally meant to have two fights this weekend, which I thought would have been class. But my opponent for the first day actually ended up pulling out. And the guy I'm fighting out Sunday, he was supposed to fight Saturday as well. But his opponent pulled out too. So we're both of us are just straight into a final now Sunday. So yeah, but I actually would have really liked to have gotten the two, because I think the guy would have fought Saturday would have been more of like a striker, and then the guy Sunday is more of a grappler. So it would have been class to get like a bout in of experience against boys that have a kind of slightly different basis to each other. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Yeah, no, it's the fight game. Like when you look at the evolution of MMA to where it is now, like is it kind of does it feel surreal that it's progressed so fast and so quickly? Because like you said, strength conditioning, nutrition, all the stuff we know about techniques, competing, the health and safety of the fighters and everything we have nowadays. Is it like night and day to what it was when you first
Yeah,
started competing?
yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, say, when I was doing MMA years ago, I was the only teenager in the gym. So like I was a teen having to train with a lot of like grown men. Do you know what I mean? No, and now literally you have like kids and teens classes here that are packed, and say like they're learning from people that have the 10 or 15 years behind them of doing things the old way and learning what works and what doesn't work. You know what I mean? So, like, even if you go, I think there's like a kids comp on Sunday before our one or something, the youth nationals or whatever. Like, if you see the level of some of them, like, it's just unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've kids there and teens that are 16, 14, 14, 15, 16, and they already have 10 years of training behind them. Do you know what I mean? And they're just unbelievable. I mean, even say like the like the system we have here is class as well with all the lads say just with say like the mind Kieran has and like obviously like he's a really highly regarded coach and has like years of MMA behind him as well and like he was doing say like a degree in strength and conditioning and stuff too and then obviously me like I went to college and did sports science and all and just like the way we have stuff laid out and it's so good compared to say like years ago it could have been like one of the boys watched something on YouTube and was like, right, lads, today that's what we're going to work. You know what I mean? Whereas now, like, no, like, like we have a syllabus and a system and it's periodized and it's just like, it's class. You know what I mean? Like, say, like, even all the lads here are training like pros, even they're like, they're pros, but they're pros even though they're still fighting amateur. You know what I mean? Like, the way they're training and stuff. But as a whole, like, the level in Ireland now is so good. But yeah, it's night and day compared to like what you would have seen, like even 10 years ago, if not, like 15, 20. It's class. It's class to see, and it's only going to keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah, it is. Like I watch some of the novice fights now, and I'm like, these are novice fighters. Like
Yeah,
it's mental, and like you said, you've got all the steps there, and we have all the information, whether it's nutrition, strength and
yeah,
conditioning. Before, like I said, it was. I think Brian Moore said they used to go onto boards, or they used to go onto something to research even a move, or this. Someone had a jujitsu DVD and trying to
yeah,
learn. Whereas the information's out there, and you've got these steps in the gym that basically, if the guys show up, they're going to be successful. So it's
yeah,
kind of streamlined. It's only up to the fighter now. There's no more guesswork.
yeah. You like kind of you get out what you put in. You know what I mean? That way. But yeah, no, it is. It's class. Like all the information is out there. If you know obviously how to like sift through it and stuff. I know boys now are they're just relying on ChatGPT for everything. Anyway, I'm glad to have come from a time where like learned my trade before that was a thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it is. It's class. It's great. It's great to see. And like I said, like it's just constantly evolving and it's just going to keep getting better. And like to the caliber of Irish athletes, even that you have now, kind of just shows how good things have gotten here. Like we've got like champions there, like the likes of say like Solomon Simon that just won his belt. We've got like Will Fleury, Paul Hughes, like Ian Gary, everyone. They're just showing how good things here are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like if you look at UFC, I know Caelan Loughran's gone and Keith was gone now, but there were 6 or 7 at one stage in the UFC
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
this
yeah.
tiny
The
island,
next way. Yeah,
like Octagon, Cage Warriors, PFL. Like that we're everywhere for such a tiny island that the levels is unreal, and I think that's why we do so well, especially at the start of pro when these other Europeans are coming in. I don't think they have the amateur background. They don't have the
yeah.
dedication. Well, I'm not saying the dedication train, but I just think the lads here train 2 times a day, work 40, 50 hours a week, and it's just mental. But as for yourself, obviously you're going to be competing Sunday. Will this be the last time you compete for the year? You're going to enjoy Christmas, or are you looking at getting matched on another show?
Yeah, unless they end up fighting someone on a night out over Christmas. But anyways, yeah, no, this should be it now for the year. Unless like I know there are two shows there on the 6th and 7th. I think there's a Gladiator era on and there's an EFC on. Unless something good came up there, say like the right matchup, and I come out this weekend fairly okay, I could jump into that. I know we're still trying to get some of our lads matched on those, so I wouldn't. I'm not ruling out maybe doing one more. But I'd say the way things are looking at the moment, this will probably be the last one for the year. But then again, hopefully, then I will be doing IMAS at the start of February. You know what I mean? So I'll just be training right through the Christmas and then just all of January and then fighting again. Then because but the goal is to like just compete as much as I can next year because like I have the years of training kind of behind me now, so I just have to get good at competing again and just making the right decisions in the cage, and that you can kind of only really do that by competing, as opposed to say like some of the lads here that are still like obviously like building up their skills and going through their belts in jiu-jitsu and all that crap,
Yeah, because live competition is a lot different to the training room because you've got someone there trying to take your head off, trying to choke you out. And like I know people say in the training room you can do this, but well, it's different. There's the event, there's the crowd, there's
Yeah, yeah.
different different things that kind of come into it though. But in terms of the IMAS, obviously, if you're successful and you go, what would it mean for you to represent the country on a stage like the IMAS?
It would be unbelievable, like, because it was stuff say that I wanted to do when I was younger and when I was fighting and competing back then, and just say, I was a lot younger and things were a lot different, and even like say like money and stuff like that to be able to go and do things like that, and say there was no IMA or IMAS back then either, which like for me at the age I was, to say, I was like 16, 17, 18 when I was fighting, it would have been class because it would have been like the right thing for me to do. Whereas like when I was back that age fighting, like my coach and stuff was already on about maybe going pro when I was like 18, you know what I mean? Because like there was just only so many fights you could do and so many people you could fight. And back then people were jumping between like pro and AMI and semi-pro, and like it was the Wild West, you know what I mean? Like whereas now, like, there's it's just class because it's systemized. Let's say like you can go through the IMF route, and then like you can try get one, 2 or 3 of those under your belt, get the experience. Then maybe look at going like pro or something, and still trying to clock up like 10 or 15 or 20 AMI fights or whatever, and building like proper experience before you move on. But yeah, just to represent the country would be like unbelievable. Like, you know what I mean? I think anybody, it should be a dream nearly for any athlete, really. You know what I mean? It's the goal for so many, and yeah, like I'd be honoured to be able to do it. You know what I mean? To go out in a tricolour and hopefully knock a few heads around and get a few W's. So yeah, hopefully we'll see how it goes. It's class even a few times there. Even like we just went over to England. A few of the boys were fighting, and say like even just the boys when they're over there, bringing out the tricolour and stuff. Like we've a tricolour here in the gym. It's like one that you kind of wear with a bit of a hood, but we've never washed it. So it's just a thing. I know that sounds rotten, but we brought it to like loads of shows, and there's literally like blood from I don't know how many different people on it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like the yolk is absolutely rotten, but that's the one we wear and we bring. You know what I mean? It feels like it has its own aura. You know what I mean? And just I don't know if they'll let me through the airport with it at this stage. There's that much stuff on it, but if we can bring that over, you know what I mean, it'll be class because it's one that really means something in the gym here. You know what I mean, right? Along with just like the country as a whole. But even just to be able to go, whether representing the country or not, even just to be able to represent the gym here and like what we're about is obviously really important to me because so like I do work here as well, and one of the coaches and coaching kids and adults, and like just to lead from the front, you know what I mean, is something that's really important for me as well. And it's like I said, the same thing with say like the S&C and nutrition stuff, like being able to show like doing the work properly, you know what I mean? Not being one of these big like overweight coaches with terrible technique that's like trying to coach people just because they're reading ChatGPT or something, you know what I mean that way.
Chat GBT seems to be solving all the world's, but it's not something I'd use. It's not something I want to use. I like real life, real people, real experiences, and find
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. So Highland area yourself.
yeah,
That's I don't even want to go into AI and chat.
yeah,
I want to go back to the 90s to be honest. But
yeah,
um, I'm gonna let you go. It's been a pleasure to talk to you because I know obviously we're so close to this weekend. I want to wish you the best of luck this weekend. I
yeah.
might be
No worries.
there. It depends on I'm commentating on Saturday on the show. It depends on how I feel Sunday. But
Okay, class,
I
yeah.
was invited up
Yeah,
to
I
see
think there might be a stream. I'm not too sure, but I think there might be a stream.
the stream. I'll have a look because I was talking
Yeah,
to Danny, who does fantastic work with the youth. She invited me up to watch
yeah,
the
yeah,
youth. So then, obviously, if I was there, I would stay up. But it depends on yourself with travel and stuff. I could say yeah
yeah,
now
yeah,
on Sunday morning. I could wake up and be like, wow, I feel like
yeah,
I'm hit
yeah,
by a
yeah.
bus here. But look, is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone want to shout out? Thank you so much for your time.
I just want to give like biggest shout out to Kieran Davern. Obviously, like none of us here could do any of what we do without him. He gives us like so much. You want to see like the second you find out you have a fight, like he's watching everything he can about the person, making a game plan, constantly say watching and researching himself, and just constantly his whole life revolves around martial arts and the gym and just making everyone better. So like biggest thanks go to him. Obviously, everyone else in the gym here as well that I train with, everyone on the team. Obviously, like say, special with Ronan Deegan and Marie Kennedy that I work with as well, and Jamie also, and then just my partner Emily because she like supports me doing all this crack where I'm gone like literally all the time. You know what I mean? But I always come home, to her at the end of the day, and she supports me and is fully on board for like me like pursuing this now properly. So yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully, you're successful this weekend, and I'm sure we're going to have more conversations next year, obviously, if you want to. But yeah,
Yeah,
best of luck,
100%.
and I will see you soon.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dave. Appreciate it, man.